I'm really reading the history of the park and the African American community, the history of all these fantastic musicians that lived here, and probably unknown musicians too. And also I know there was a lot of important civil rights people that lived here too. So all that, you know, I grew up in Pittsburgh, right near kind of a similar neighborhood called the Hill District. So I am familiar with neighborhoods, African American neighborhoods with strong music and political force behind them in their own community. So it's a fantastic project for me to create musicians for this. So for me, the musicians are paying homage to the history of the community and also bringing a contemporary, you know, feeling to it too. You know, this is a project for the city of Tampa, Florida. It's called the Perry Harvey Park, and I was commissioned to create several large-scale sculptures for this park, which are in the background here, a little bit of it. And the Perry Harvey Park pays homage to the African American communities past, which there was a lot of famous musicians that lived there and civil rights people. Perry Harvey Sr. himself was a well-known civil rights leader, which the park was named after. And so they commissioned several artists to do different projects for the park. And my sculptures will be the gateway to the park, so you will walk through them and into the park. So it's a very special commission for me. So there's two 15-foot sculptures that you will walk through, and those are two musicians, a guy playing saxophone and a woman playing giant bass. To the side of them will be a circular kind of podium, and there'll be two people dancing sort of in the style of the twist, because the twist was the phrase "the twist" was kind of coined in Tampa, Florida, back in the day. So, so those will be smaller sculptures, and then there'll be a jukebox that goes along with that, a sculpture of a jukebox, and then there'll be a couple dogs that'll be in the installation. And I also designed 3 large-scale lights, like old-fashioned stand-up lights, that'll be placed besides the different sculptures. Yeah, when you create these big sculptures, first you have to design them. So the first I actually do sketches of what I'm going to make, and then from the sketches I make small models, maybe 10 inches. And the models have quite a bit of detail in the postures and gestures and all that. And then really from the models, I base my big sculptures. I have the models around when I'm making the big sculptures, and they come out pretty close to the original models. And then these sculptures were first made in clay, and then they were cast in concrete. So you have to make metal armatures, and then you put the clay on the armatures, and you get the clay perfect the way you like it. And then plaster molds have to be made, and somebody comes, or I cover the entire sculpture in plaster molds in sections and take the plaster molds off, and then you throw away the original sculptures because they're done, and it's the plaster molds that have the negatives of the original sculptures inside them, and you take those plaster molds, and then I have a sticky concrete that I use that you actually pack the concrete into the molds, like 1 inch thick, and then after the entire molds, you do it, 2 feet by 2 feet till the whole entire sculpture is packed in the molds up to like 15 feet. And then after that, when the concrete dries, you rip apart the molds, you throw away the molds, and underneath the molds are these are the beginnings of the concrete sculptures are kind of reborn from the clay underneath the molds. And then after that, they're fairly rough looking when they come out, like these guys here. And then you have to clean them up and patch them and grind them and put sealers on them and color them, and then at the end they'll look spiffy and ready for the party. Yeah, one of the issues with making these big sculptures is how you move them around, because you can't just pick them up and move them. They're all very heavy. So after these sculptures are all finished, they will be, we'll have forklifts move them out onto the sidewalk, and then I have to hire one of these big transport trucks that you see zooming down the highway every day. And they'll come and we'll have a crane that'll crane these babies onto their truck and lay them down like they're resting. And we'll strap them on, and that ought to make an interesting sight down the highway. They'll be driven down to Tampa. I hope that it is a sensation for them, because I think they've come out really good. And I really create public art because I love to do it, and I love what I make. And then I hope it, transforms into that on the site where the people, can enjoy it and get excited about it.